Welcome back to the sweet spot where we discuss cultural matters, media matters. So we all remember where we were when the man landed on the moon.
Right.
Or when 9/11 happened, or when
Right.
President Kennedy was shot.
Yes.
And then we know where we were right after that, which was in front of the television set.
Right.
That's what we're going to talk about, is how when these signal events occur, how are they now consumed, and is it any different? So I want to ask you, how did you find out about the Boston bombing?
I'd had lunch with a colleague, and I was taking the subway home, and when the subway comes up over the train comes up over the East River to cross the Manhattan Bridge, I get a signal on my phone. So I went on Twitter. I got this stream where I had to kind of piece it together backwards, where it's just like bombing, explosion, marathon, and I thought, what the heck is this? And I got home, and I did not go to the TV. I went to the radio.
What?
And I went to the radio because
Do you have one in your house?
I do, and it's my. I mean,
Does it have an old dial on it?
I went to two places. I went to the internet. I went to the NY Times homepage on
and
the
your
web.
hand cranked radio.
And I went to NPR.
But didn't you want to see it?
Well, you could see it. I mean, there were the videos of the bombs going off. Then you could see the surveillance videos. So television, I have to say, was not a part of my experience of it.
So
in
the
real
fact
time.
that I clicked on CNN and watched them grind their way through a day-long story,
and then took out your baseball bat and.
All right, so yeah, they did get a thing or two wrong along the way,
Yes.
but I find there's something to be comforting in the cable ritual of, we aren't totally clear, we don't know for sure, but here is...
See, I don't like that.
You don't?
I don't trust it, because if there's a journalist standing there in front of the camera talking about something that's happening, you know that person is not reporting it. Also, if they bring on the expert, they're going to spin out some speculation based on other stuff that they know. So I feel like it's the least reliable place to go. I would much rather go through the underbrush of social media and the internet and try to find the people who seem trustworthy, who seem to be on scene and know what's going on.
On the one hand, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because Seth Mnookin, who is a journalist who lives in Boston, was tweeting the police scanner through the night, and that was vivid and telling. On the other, if you tease apart your social media feed, you know what you're looking at? You're looking at legacy media.
I agree with you entirely that professional journalists work this story very hard and very well. What I found I wanted a lot of the time was to read something. So there was a great column in the Boston Globe by Kevin Cullen.
Yeah.
There was Charles Pierce in Esquire, a local, Bostonian. Another great piece of reporting was something that David Remnick wrote in the New Yorker, who spent many, many years reporting in Russia and the Soviet Union, who wrote a really interesting, still somewhat speculative and interpretive, and we don't know anything about that yet, but here is bring some dimension to the story, some explanatory possibility.
If breaking news was somewhat broken, as Slate and others allege, all was not right in social media land. I mean, Reddit set up a kind of digital witch hunt and went after and said, these are the guys. True enough, the New York Post fingered a couple of people, and it was based on some physical correlates. So I'm happy for the jailbreak on media. I'm happy that you can assemble but it's not without downsides.
It puts a lot of the burden of figuring out what information is true and what the responsible reaction to it is on everybody.
So here's the deal: you should go to comments on ArtSpeed, and you should think back to how you maneuvered your way through this tragedy. And the eventual outcome, which was a big moment in the American cultural narrative. We don't just build one great big campfire anymore and all sit around and look at the same thing. We're all looking at our own program channel. We're interested in what yours is.